Hi, in this tutorial series what I'm going to show you is how to get a custom character with custom animations inside UDK as the main playable character. We're going to use a couple of things here, showing a bit of cat rigging, exporting, importing anim trees, finally scripting. We have a quick character here, Batman I made. Now what we want to do is we want to start by making sure our character is the right size for UDK, which is 95 in height, which is roughly about 6 foot, and a width of 45 and 45. The reason we do this is because it needs to be correct scale when we're replacing the character. As you can see, the height here is just perfect. So my character has been scaled up and the X-forms be reset on this character. And we also need to make sure our character is at 0, 0 and 0 on each one. So our pivot point needs to be at the bottom here, at the base of the feet, to make sure it's right at the bottom of the grid inside 3D Studio Max. So once you've done that preparation, what we want to do is we want to right click our character, go Object Properties and make it see-through and click OK. We also want to right click him and freeze selected because we don't want that accidentally selected. Now we want to go to the Create panel and then we want to go to Helpers, and in the drop down box we want to go Cat Objects. Now we switch this to 4 viewports as it'll be easier to work. We select our cat parent, and in the top viewport I'm going to draw this triangle by holding the mouse button. I want to make sure it engulfs the whole character in it. And I want to make sure I reset the position to 0, 0, 0. Before we start building our rig, we want to make sure that our bone objects is not turned off so that we can see what we're building. To make sure that they are turned on, if we go to the display panel, and then you'll see some boxes here that says hide by category. We need to make sure that bone objects is unticked. And with that done, we can now go to the modify panel whilst making sure we have our platform selected. And then we should see a button at the bottom here saying create pelvis. As soon as you click that, it'll drop in this little block. Well, that's our pelvis bone. We're going to select it, and we're going to move it down roughly to where our pelvis is on our 3D model. You can scale it by right clicking and getting the scale tool to scale it inside to match more of your mesh. And our pelvis is about right. Now we want to go to the right panel here with the pelvis selected still and click add leg. This will drop our leg in. I like to work by moving the foot platform at the bottom first to the correct position. I'm going to rotate this platform now just to get it right so it's facing the correct angle of what my foot is facing. And I'm going to move this joint into where the knee is. Now I need to rotate these top and bottom bits of the rig. So I'm just going to right click and rotate them around. As you can see, it works on a hierarchy system, so what affects the top affects the bottom. With that done, I'm now going to scale it to match more of my mesh. And now because I scaled it, I have to readjust the leg, so I need to put that kink back in the knee. So I'm just going to move the bottom part and move it forward so it's kinking. You always want your character rigs and character meshes to have a little kink in the knees and a kink in the arms. Let me just get the rotations a bit better on this leg. You can carry on adjusting this as much as you like. I think I'm good with that. So if I click the pelvis bone, I need to create another leg, but if I hit add leg, one good thing about cat rigging, you'll notice it copy and paste exactly what's on one side of the leg, what we did with that side, onto the other side, so it saves us some time. Now we're going to add a spine. I don't need a spine with this many links, so I'm going to select one of the bones in the spine, and where it says bones on the right, I'm going to change that from 5 to 2. Now I just have 2 spine bones. And this top bit, this is the top of our chest. So I'm going to adjust this part properly and get this into the correct position. I'm going to scale it. And I'm going to scale the inside of the spine bit. I'm going to rotate my spine so it's coming a bit out. Okay, now we need to create some arms. So if I select the base at the top of the spine and click add arm, it'll drop an arm in for us. I like to adjust this kind of like the foot. I like to move the palm out first into where it needs to be. And then I like to move the top right in there. And then move this to the joint. Now you notice that this model sticks out with its chest, so its shoulders are set back a bit. So I need to rotate the shoulder joint to make sure it simulates that. Which requires me to readjust the arms a bit. And this is why it's good working in all 4 viewports, because it just speeds up your workflow and makes it easier. Now my palm's facing the wrong way, so I need to rotate this around to get it facing the correct way. For the purpose of this tutorial, I'm not going to add fingers. I'm just going to keep with a basic palm bone. And I think that's about right. So just like with the leg, if we select the middle bone of the spine and click add arm, it will copy what we did on the exact same side. So if you have a symmetrical model, using cat rigging can apply to be very fast. Now we're going to rig the head, but I don't want any facial movement, so I'm going to do a really basic rig on this. So I'm just going to click the add spine button again, and I'm going to click on one of the bones and change it from 5 to 1. So that represents our neck bone, and this top bit is going to represent our head. So we're going to move this to about where the head is, adjust it around, rotate it, and scale it to engulf our head. Okay, that looks about right. That will do for now. So now the last thing I need to do is add some bones for this cape here. So I'm going to click my spine bone again, and I'm going to click add tail. And what this has done is it's created a simulation of bones using a hierarchy system for our tail. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the whole bone system, move it into the place, rotate it around. But I made a mistake there. I can just rotate the bottom joint here because it is a hierarchy system. Let me just put the snap tool on here, make my life a bit easier. Now I'll rotate it to a 90-degree angle. If I want to move the whole bone, I have to make sure it's all selected. So now I can adjust it to where I want it. There's too many bones in this, so I'm going to decrease it. I'm going to select one of them, and in the nums link box, I'm just going to set it to 3. Then I'm just going to scale this to the side so that it matches it a bit. Keep in mind, with this cape I haven't really modelled it to be animated. It's kind of a really fast job, so it won't animate very well because it doesn't have the correct parts to make it crease and bend nicely during animation. I can scale this inside so it's a bit thinner, and any bone I scale on here will scale the rest of them. I think I'll move this a bit more up so it's sitting in the center. And there we go. We basically have the cat rig that is ready for our model. And the next part for this would be to skin it and make the mesh basically function with it. Here you can see the cat rig all by itself. Okay, so if you move on to the next part of the tutorial, I will demonstrate how to skin.